Dude, I got things on my mind. I'm walking around Nevada City, California today on a gorgeous Saturday at the end of June. And I just had a big milestone, my 25th anniversary, wedding anniversary. And I'm about to have another crazy milestone, which is my 55th birthday. 55. I guess my 50th birthday should have been the big one, but you know, it was right at the beginning of COVID and there were other things to worry about, like the total collapse of our lifestyle as we knew it and things like that. So I hardly remember my 50th birthday. But here we are at 55, and you have to understand my reference point. It's not a normal reference point. 55 in music industry years is sort of like comparing it to dog years. Like, oh, how old's your dog? My dog's 14. Oh my goodness, isn't that like 100? Sort of like that. And I do come from rock and roll culture. You know, some of you might understand that metric of the old music biz. And I do recall on my 27th birthday, I remember walking through Greenwich Village in New York City and thinking to myself, Jimi Hendrix walked these same streets and he died when he was 27. Everything that he accomplished flamed out before he ever got a chance to hit 30. And that is the prevailing narrative. That is the rock and roll narrative. And it's, you know, it's unfortunate, but it's just sort of what we're used to. And now I'm the age of 2 Jimi Hendrix lives. He could have gone through that whole life twice and still not quite be my age. Do you understand how weird that is? So what I want to talk about is, what's it like to be an artist, to be a musician, to be from the rock and roll culture in your 50s out here, and how that paradigm needs to shift, how you have to reinvent your concept of what that looks like. Because nobody's gonna mistake me for a young dude anymore. You know, the girls at the coffee place call me sir. I don't think they're just being polite. I think it's like, you know, the way that you call somebody sir when they're 85. And if that's cool, you know, I mean, Elton John is Sir Elton John. Sir Paul McCartney, right? They're sirs. Those guys are cool. You're also going to find that I gravitate towards shade. I'm a Canadian in direct sunlight. You understand what that means? That means that I'm risking life and limb for you guys to tell this story. It's still going, just like your old buddy JB. Okay, so I'm gonna just have a seat here and have some breakfast. It's pretty hot out, but I feel like being outside, and it's slightly less weird for me to talk out here than inside the restaurant. I made some notes. So I'm just going to rattle off a few of them and then some thoughts about each one. Ready? Okay, number one. It's too late. Everybody at a certain age, and honestly, even young people feel this way. So I talk to 25-year-olds. I talk to 35-year-olds that say that it's too late for them to do what they're supposed to be doing. And it sounds ridiculous when you're in your 50s, but that's life. That's part of life. The fear of missing out, the fear of missing the boat. So it's too late. Okay. Too late for what exactly? I'm not chasing a record deal. I'm looking for resonance. I'm looking for depth. And those are things that don't expire. Those are things that I hope to have more to offer 20 years from now at age 75 than I have right now. I hope I can look back on this time and think, oh, I actually have a lot more to say at 75 than I did at 55. So too late? Maybe too late to be, the Backstreet Boys or the Beatles or, BTS. But I'm looking for something else. Okay, here's another trope. You should already be established. Okay. Well, I was kind of established. I had a great life in LA. But the industry that I came up on kind of doesn't exist anymore. It's in shambles. We're all looking for sort of a post-apocalyptic music industry identity. I think longevity is the new flex, more than youth. And I would even tell that to a young artist coming up. I would tell them, go for the long game. Come up with things that are not dependent on you being bright and shiny, 21 years old. Okay, here's a good one. No one wants to hear from older artists. I think that the world is drowning in TikTok content by teenagers. There's nothing inherently wrong with it, but it's definitely not everything. Do you really think this world is populated only by people who just can't get enough of Charlie XCX? Is that all there is out there? Do you think that perhaps there may be an underserved audience? Do you guys know how well classic rock is doing on Spotify? Old music, period, is getting 75% of the listens on Spotify. Why is that? Is it only because it has the advantage of having been around for a while? Or is it just because there's something special about it? Who is serving those audiences now? Oh, look at that. Amazing.
This plate is a little hot.
Okay,
underneath.
awesome. Thank you so much.
Yeah.
Appreciate it. I'm going to take a break. Let me finish this idea first. The rise of niche culture as opposed to monoculture. In 1967, everybody heard the album Sgt. Pepper's Lonely Hearts Club Band. If you were in the Western Hemisphere, and probably far beyond, you were going to hear that record while it was still current. Today, the biggest artist is Taylor Swift. If you talk to a bunch of people across a wide spectrum of ages and cultures in the street, and just take them aside, half of them won't be able to sing you a Taylor Swift song. And she's huge. She just did the greatest, biggest, most profitable tour in the history of music. And yet, even the most mainstream of the mainstream is still niche compared to what it would have been in past decades. What does this mean? To me, what it means is that everything is a niche. That means that there is something for everyone. There are people who the peak of their life so far was attending the Eras tour, and seriously, there's no amount of money that would have been too much for them to pay to go to that show. There's other people that are looking for the exact thing that I have to offer after, 25 years of marriage, 55 years on the planet, 35 years in the music business. Those are my people. Some of them are young. A bunch of them are old. They're going to come from all walks of life. Those are my people. And I have to be just as confident about that as Tay-Tay is with hers. Side note, motorcycles with loudspeakers. Any thoughts? All right, I see a coffee place. So you know that's where I'm going. You know, it's funny walking around this 150-year-old gold rush town talking about age, because the truth is this town would have none of its charm if it didn't have so much depth. You know, this area has so much history. It's got every brick of every one of these buildings could tell a million stories. And without being too corny, that's kind of how I feel. I got to meet, you know, Wah-Wah Watson and Jeff Skunk Baxter, and you know, I got to tour the world, and here I am, still excited about it. Oh, here, this is cool. That's our local community radio station. I've been on there a few times. So tempting if I was a piano player. I think my first real gig in Nevada County was in there. Probably my second and third Nevada County gigs were in there. So what this channel is going to be about is the same thing as what everything in my life is going to be about. I want to build a collective of artists that challenge traditional music industry notions of what is relevant in this day and age. We're going to be the opposite of this sort of shallow content for content's sake mentality of entertainment right now. I believe in my friends. I believe in my fellow artists. I believe in myself. And I've had plenty of years to develop these relationships, to develop these skills, and to create something that that I can defend and that I can go out and advocate for. I honestly feel like our best work is still ahead of us. The songs that I've written in the last 5 years are some of the best I've written in my life, and I still feel like I haven't said most of what I need to say. So that's what I want to bring to you. That's what I want to bring to YouTube. That's what I want to bring to Substack. Find me on there. Just look up my name. And any other venue where we bring this music. We're trying to resonate at the frequency of the divine. If we can't do that, then what's the point? If you're out there and you're over 40, you're over 50, you're over 60, and you feel like you still have something to offer, then for God's sake, man, get out there, you know? Don't do it in the old way. Do it in the new way. Look for those 5 people who get it. Look for those 25 people who get it. Then maybe 50 people who get it. If you get 500 or 1,000 people who get it, you're paying some bills and you're saying what your spirit has asked you to say. So that's where we're coming from here. Enough of my rambling. I've been having a really good time walking around, heat notwithstanding. And I want to show you guys more of Nevada County too. Looking a little dirty, which is how Jeeps are supposed to be.